Hey guys, welcome back to another Skyrim mods video. Last time I did some Baldur's Gate just to see how things went, but now we're back with some more Skyrim today. I got a handful of mods that I think everyone will love. Well, some might be an acquired taste, but most of these are for everyone. So if you end up enjoying enough to hit that like button, make sure you do so. And also make sure you endorse mod authors, at least of the mods that you end up grabbing from this video. If you end up grabbing any, that is. But without further ado, let's dive right in because I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. Oh, and also one more quick thing, I do plan to start Cyberpunk as well, just for fun. First up today we have the mod Edge UI, a modern Skyrim interface. I've been following this mod pretty much since the beginning, and now it has finally released on Nexus. Of course the one I've been using in all my older videos have been an older version of Edge UI, and this is the newer one, so some things might look different and you might notice these differences. But this did just come out on Nexus, so you might expect some bugs that will be fixed as things progress. Edge UI, when you first install it, does come with a bunch of patches for mods already out on Nexus, such as True HUDs, which is why you see new enemy bars, or maybe even the recent loot widget, which is in the lower right hand corner. Whenever you pick up items, it'll display what you picked up. Here's just a quick showcase of my True HUD settings so you can get things aligned. But that doesn't count for Sunhelm, which also has support for this. Edge UI pretty much has patches for almost every user interface mod on Nexus. I don't believe there is one for oxygen meter yet, which I do use, but pretty much everything else that you can think of has already been patched. And you pretty much pick these patches at the time of installing, so some of these are selected automatically, but the experience patch, if you do use that one, the auto select for it has been disabled, but you can still turn it on, because the mod author is currently waiting on the experienced mod author to make an official patch. The great part about this mod is that this mod is so loved by the community that the community provided add-ons for this mod for Eugene to use and updates, and help get the user interface out faster for Nexus. I kinda love when the modding community works together instead of against each other. This user interface does require two other mods to work, which is Untarnished UI, and because it requires Untarnished UI, it also requires Dear Diary. But once you have those two installed, this is almost a plug and play. But honestly, my personal opinion, I don't recommend this UI for new modders. It might be a little hard to make work correctly on your first try, but if you're willing to stick with it, I highly recommend using this UI because it fits Skyrim perfectly. Maybe this is what we'll see in Hammerfell. Up next, an overhaul for Solitude, but this mod is called Skyfall's Blue Palace Courtyard. And by the title, you can already see this completely overhauls the courtyard. Not just adding new miscellaneous items to make it seem full of life now and just full of clutter, but the actual court was completely overhauled. And the entrance to the Blue Palace was completely changed as well. This won't break your interior mods though, but this will definitely need some patches depending on your Solitude setup, like if you have Blue Palace Terrace. This overhaul makes the Blue Palace feel like an actual palace, for lack of better words. At least for the capital of Skyrim, even though they change capitals so often for some reason. And as a side note, the furniture I'm using is from the mod author Simp, so if you were wondering what that is, it is not provided by this mod, but it does fit it perfectly, so I highly recommend pairing the two. This mod takes the Blue Palace Courtyard from being just an empty entrance to the Blue Palace that no one really paid attention to a garden of sorts and an actual rest area that you might want to spend time in. Well, NPCs might want to spend time there. You as the Dragonborn won't find much time to spend here, unfortunately. Well, not until Alduin is dead at least, or maybe you're just irresponsible. Next up, another locational overhaul called JK's Nightingale Hall. This mod overhauls the hall starting from the exit to the entrance. It's no longer just a cave entrance, but it has a door and an actual walkway leading to the hall itself. Of course, when you first grab this mod, it doesn't completely overhaul the place. There is some changes, but you do have to do the Thieves Guild questline. And once you complete it, then things will be completely changed and repaired, and you'll see pretty much what JK had in mind for this place. I did have one glitch, as you can see, the Ember's XD floating, but that just means I had a bad load order because I didn't loot things before trying this mod. This interior overhaul though is what this hall really needed. It was honestly quite forgettable before. But now with this, I feel like becoming a Nightingale is kind of worth it. If not for the cool armor, then a cool new base that feels true to being a new assassin. Most of these rooms before you fully complete the Thieves Guild questline and repair the Nightingale Hall will be completely empty. Not destroyed, but just empty. But after returning the key and fully embracing your role as a Nightingale, which I was tempted to showcase because that was kind of my first time doing it. Last time I denied it with the mod. But after doing so, these rooms will fill up with useful utilities. As you can see, there is no Lux patch yet, but based on the comments, there is one already being worked on, so will be released 100% before this video is even out. So your haul will look better than mine, unfortunately. But as long as you downloaded this mod and endorsed JK, then it was probably worth it in the end. But up next, a new armor mod called Knight-Errant armor set, featuring a new armor set that comes with support for both female and male bodies. No information if there is support for beast races, but I'm going to assume there isn't based on the description, because this keeps the player head, so based on how your head is sculpted, it may clip with the helmet. So I assume just based on beast races already having that, it won't work with this armor. This is meant to be an in-game armor. It has ebony tier stats and requires ebony smithing perk to obtain, so you won't be getting this anytime soon, unless you're one of the people that cheat just to get a cool looking armor at the beginning of your game and just use it the entire time. But maybe the wait is worth it. I'm also one of those people. But this armor is pretty modular. You can unequip parts of it that you don't like, such as the scarf if you're not a fan of it. Next up is Vertigo thigh-high boots. I figured considering we're already talking about armors, why not mention this? This features 2 thigh-high boots for female characters only, obviously. They come in brown and black. This is what I mentioned in the beginning about acquired taste, but I can definitely see quite a few people making use of this by making their own personal mashups and then probably releasing the armor if they get permission. What's great about this mod though is I actually don't have high heel system installed, and these work without putting my character feet into the ground. So win is a win to me. Up next, a new massive overhaul for Skyrim, well, to its landscapes anyway. This mod is called Deadly Dragon Lair Locations, all in one. I previously showcased these while they were separate. I did miss quite a few, but now there's an all-in-one overhauling all the locations. The ones that are considered a dragon lair. I know you guys are wondering if this works with Ryan's Dragon Mounts collection, and for a short answer, yes it does. That is where dragon mounts, which are typically very close to these locations, touched by this mod, but this mod overhauls the lairs for the dragons, where you usually find the word wall. So while they are very near to each other and you know if you find one there will be another one, they do different things and honestly work really well together, at least in my experience. Let me know down in the comments if you had any issue with these two mods combined so I can correct myself. This overhaul does so much more than just simply adding new clutter to the surrounding areas. It completely changes the feel of these locations, making them feel much more important than what is provided already in vanilla Skyrim, especially considering the fact that they give you new shouts. Like this mod even adds new interiors. Nothing massive was done to the interiors, just little locations that you can explore, and also placing new enemies because of course locations as important as these word walls would have guards trying to prevent you from gaining too much power to defeat Alduin, if they have connection, which I'm pretty sure they do. Not all locations have the same amount of changes though. Some are much bigger than the others in scale, I guess, to kind of get them comparable. But some have small changes so you aren't too overwhelmed because they were pretty much done pretty perfectly in vanilla Skyrim. But trust me, even though I only showed a few dragon lairs because these are massive, if I showed them all, this showcase would be at least 5 minutes. But trust me, if you have even a slight idea or remember a little bit of these locations, you'll be able to tell immediately how massive this mod is in scale. Hence why I've already downloaded this, added it to my Wabajek, and have endorsed the mod author. But now moving on to a new NPC overhaul, this mod is called Women of Whiterun Hope, which might be one of my new favorite overhauls of Skyrim, well, for NPCs at least. Of course this is only for the women in Whiterun for now, but I do hope in the future the mod author continues this series. Every female in Skyrim looks vastly different from one another. Some do kind of look similar to what you'd find in other mods, but some of them are different from anything I've ever seen, like Isolde or Ophina. I really didn't expect much when I first installed this. I know you guys might hear me say that often, but I check so many mods daily, so my expectations get lowered quite a lot. But it's mods like these that excite me again. The women aren't all copy and paste, and the Redguard women like Sadia don't look horrible, which is already pretty rare, but this mod might be the best Sadia I've ever seen. If you know a better one, please give me the link down in the description. I might even side with Sadia now with this overhaul. Of course, because this is Whiterun, the companions are overhauled as well. I do wonder what the male overhauls will look like if Chob ever got to doing that, but I am glad not every NPC provided in this overhaul is a supermodel. Then I feel like I need to make my character match that when I just really want to play. But this mod also has one of the best Rias I've ever seen. And 100% honesty here, I do live for Airleft's chin in this mod. It really defines her somehow. And that was pretty much it for today, guys. Let me know out of the mods listed in this video which one you would use down in the comments. But as of right now, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys.